Hi guys, welcome to spanishreds. So I decided to do an entire video on Spanish reds because these are my Achilles heel when I do blind tasting. Sometimes I do a blind tasting and I'll completely nail Rioja, or I'll definitely know it's Mencia, or I'll get, Rias Baixas Albarino, whatever it is. I either nail it or I'm totally off, and I'm probably off about 65% of the time. So, especially with the reds, I need more help. I am starting to ramp in my studying for my Masters of Wine S2 exam coming up. I don't know how I'm going to pass because all of us are just alone, unable to taste together, which is totally unusual for this time for, the section we're in. But anyway, I have three really cool wines here. One of them I don't believe would be testable, but I wanted to throw it in because it's super fun. So this one here is from the Canary Islands. It's from the biggest island, Tenerife, and it's by a project called Envenate. So let's check it out. It's all about high elevation, terroir-driven expressions of native grapes to the island. So Listan Negro is probably the most popular grape from this area. And this one is listanprieto, also known as mission grape. And there's a little tintilla as well. So this comes from 4 parcels in the area Santiago de Tede. And all of it is over 1,000 meters in elevation, and that's over 3,000 feet. So very high elevation plantings here. They're trying to utilize vineyards that were forgotten and historic, and I'm excited to taste it because Canary Island wine is unusual. A lot of it doesn't even leave the area, and it's very hot for wine growing, so it being a more tropical climate plus having high elevation, it gives a really interesting character to these wines. So let's see how it is. Automatically I see beautiful cranberry plum-like color to it. It's not that concentrated. I can see my finger right through. Oh wow. All right, I'm gonna let that sit there for a second and just kind of open up. I want to show you the bottle a little closer. Envenate, Tinto Red, Benje, or Benje? I'm not sure how to pronounce that. All right, so the first thing, this is unfined, unfiltered. There is no sulfur dioxide added. So any of you who drink wines, natural wine, any of you studying, that means there's funk on this wine. I'm smelling definite Brettanomyces, but the good kind, the kind that makes it taste unusual, complex, a little bit meaty, a little bit farmyard, barnyard. Oh wow, I don't know. I'm not a big Brett lover, that it's kind of one of those aromatics where it's under the faulty realm in certain proportions, but some people love it. And in Cornas, there's some Brett in the wines there, and it's just, fantastic. People love it. But sometimes it gets to be too much. So that's the first thing I'm getting. So if I try to look past it, let's see what I smell. Delicate red fruit. That's about it. Let me see. All right, I can handle the palate. So the acidity is very fresh. Like I said, this is a hot climate, but it's high elevation. So it's fresh, crisp. There is some tannic grip. There is a touch of kind of like a delicate but chalky tannin. It has a lot of cranberry and it has a lot of savoriness. It's just kind of vivacious and fun, and this would be awesome for pairing. So the fact that the Brett is all on the nose and not so much on the palate, I'm all in for it, and this is a personal preference. Some people absolutely love wines that have Brett. Yeah, but this is really interesting. I'm gonna let this sit here and see what happens because this wine's going to change for sure. All right, so next, Alvaro Palacios. So he was born in Rioja to a very famous Rioja winemaking family. one of 9 brothers and sisters. And he studied winemaking. He worked at Chateau Petrus in Bordeaux. And then he came back and he was enchanted by the ancient vineyards of Priorat. And Priorat is in Catalonia. And that is the northeastern coast. Well, not exactly the coast, but in that area, the northeastern area of Spain. So let's see. Catalonia is also known for production of cava, so Spanish bubbly. I probably could have decanted this because this is a 2019 as well. Well, the Envenate I wouldn't decant, but it's also a 2019. Known to be a quite hot vintage in Spain. All right. So one cool thing is that Priorat has the highest classification, and the only other highest classification of DOCA in Spain is Rioja. And we have a Rioja next. All right, so let's see. So this blend, so the thing with Priorat is these are blends, same with Rioja. And it's usually garnacha and carignana and then a proportion of international grapes if necessary. This one is 35% Grenache, 24% Syrah, let's see, 17% Cabernet Sauvignon, 11% Carignana, 10% Merlot, and 3% other varieties. This is part of where it starts to get hard to blind taste Spanish red because one of the big areas allows blends of varying proportions and various different grape varieties. So it becomes tricky to differentiate some of these, and I'll get more into that when we get to Rioja. So, okay, it's kind of the same color as the previous, but a deeper concentration. Looks like kind of like a medium, light to medium bodied. Okay, this is pretty. This is very fruit forward on the nose. Jammy, plums, exactly what you'd expect from a garnacha based red wine. Garnacha is Grenache, if any of you didn't know. I smell some tar, maybe some, I don't know, just deep purple fruit. It's kind of perfumey too. So on the palate, similar aromas, but this is tight. So this does need to be decanted. It does need air. It's so fresh and so new. It's 2019. It can use some opening up. There is some tannic grip. There is not as much acidity as the Envenate, but some there. Yeah, again, that tannin is really, it's more grippy than the previous, but the acidity is lower. So I'm going to let this open up too. Okay, so this one luckily has been opening up for a half hour. And this is Bodega Slan. And I picked this one because I wanted one that had a mixture of French and American oak. So Rioja, in the 20th century, they were mostly using American oak, but that's changing. A lot of producers are using all French oak, or they're doing a mixture of both American and French, or they're not using any oak at all. So that's another reason why, okay, Rioja can be hard to pinpoint because a lot of times you're looking for indicators of American oak, such as dill, vanilla, or vanilla could be French, but dill, coconut, in mixture with like the grape variety aromas, tobacco, stewed cherry. Tempranillo tends to be kind of subtle in a way. So you can't, you can make 100% Tempranillo Rioja, but a lot of times there's grape varieties added. You can add Garnacha, you can add Graciano. Graciano has mulberry notes, chocolate notes, mint notes. You can add Mazuelo, which is the same as Carignana, which is also the same grape as a grape called Carignan. And that adds body and color. And what else can we add? Maturana Tinta. I have never seen this in a blend, but it's legally allowed. And they state that it's a independent variety, but it's actually genetically the same as Trousseau from the Jura. Anyway, okay, so this one is Tempranillo, 94% Tempranillo and 6% Mazuelo Carniana. Okay, and it has American and French oak. So I'm hoping that in this case, I'm going to get the quintessential dill aroma so that I can pinpoint it. All right, let's see how it is. It's also a 2011. That vintage was very warm, and there is lower acidity than normal in the wines that came from that year, but they are slow to progress. So this can still age another 5, 10, 15 years. All right, so the color is definitely deeper. It's like a deep purple. Okay, so when I first opened it, it was tighter. I wasn't getting a lot, and now I'm getting some kind of oak aroma. I'm getting a toastiness. Before it was kind of like a corn or a tortilla note, and now it's evolving more into like a spice. There's a deep, rich purple fruit component here. It smells olivey, but it's got to be that dill note. There's an herbal thing going on, and it's pretty powerful. It's not the first thing I noticed, but it's underlying. On palate, so full body. This is Gran Reserva. Gran Reserva has to be aged at least 2 years in oak and at least 5 years total. So, you know, it requires a lot of aging. It's savory, you know, I'm starting to taste some oxidative notes, not in, you know, in a bad way, but there's some savory oxidative, like kind of like almondy aromas, olivey. On the nose, it's very like incense or grandma's perfume, something like that. Like something powerful's happening on the nose. You know, and there is a sweetness to it. It's a dry, absolutely a dry red, but there's some kind of sweet-esque vanilla. There it is. That's the vanilla. There's a little vanilla on the palate. There's the oak. There's a little spice on the nose, the dill on the nose. Okay, oak. We've got oak. And yeah, so that sweetness, that seemingly sweetness is coming from that. Yeah, and what I was saying is that 94% Tempranillo. So you'd expect more red fruit, you know, the tobacco, the leather, all that. I'm getting a lot of influence from the Mazuelo that's making it seem more purple, more perfumed. It's super cool. I mean, I like this one. I was skeptical because I'm not, you know, I've never been introduced to this producer before I purchased this. And it even came with like this cute wine key. And I'm thinking, you know, maybe I shouldn't go for the gimmick. Why should I buy the one with the wine key for free, you know? But I'm glad I did it. My instincts told me to go to this one. You know, I don't know that I'm going to nail Rioja now. I need to taste a lot of different ones with different varying grape proportions. But hey, it's a good one. Try it out. And it was pushing $40, I think. The nose is freaking me out. Now it's like men's cologne. Whoa, that is weird. It's a good weird. Okay. So let's go back to the Envenate, the first one. The one from Canary Islands, Tenerife. Bah, bah. Now it's like, right after you just strike a match, it's just like a sulfuric reductive note. Wow, wow. A lot of natural things happening here. Still like very refreshing acidity. The red fruit underlying, it's not fruity, it's red fruit essence, like a very unripe strawberry or something. It's not even aromatic enough to say strawberry, just a red currant. Yeah. Drink this with your natty friends. Go to the natty wine bar, drink this, talk shit about whatever, life, and pair it with some awesome weird cheeses. Just do it. Go for it with that one. I'm probably going to just see what happens and use it as an experiment, but I know that this is a highly reputable producer, so I highly respect it. All right, next, one more go around before we're done. Camins del Priorat, Alvaro Palacios. So what I'm noticing is that the stewed black plums, the aromas on the nose are now translating to the palate because, believe it or not, when air enters the wine and allows it to breathe, you will find a little bit of progress like you would if a wine aged a little longer. There's like a cherry liqueur thing happening. So, you know, the grilled or stewed black plum, that other aroma I mentioned. And I'm already getting tipsy. I guess this video is already pretty long, so if I keep tasting these high alcohol wines, I'm just gonna start forgetting everything. And this is high alcohol, but you almost don't notice it. You have to pay a lot of attention to your throat. If you're getting any kind of feeling or burn, you're probably not gonna get a burn. That usually only happens with spirits, but there's a little bit of heat, and this is 15 to 16% alcohol, I think. Let's see, sometimes they're wrong here. Oh, it's 14.5. I think it's more. Yeah, there's two labels here. One says 14.1 to 16, and one says 14.5. So there you go. When it comes to the alcohol content, it has to do with taxes. So, all right, one more time with this Rioja. Now, if I was gonna pin the Rioja next to the priorat, this would be easy. Both of them can have garnacha in it, or garnacha, but in this case, this Rioja has no garnacha. It's all tempranillo and a little mazuelo, and this is the garnacha, Syrah, Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Carignana, and 3 more percentage. Just automatically that prettier, like jammier, candier, plum, stewed red fruit shit. Not shit. I'm thinking of shit because of the bread. Sorry. And this one now really opening up. Toasting is dill, or it's really herbal, but you can pin it as dill. Stewed red fruits like you'd expect. Finally, I'm not getting so much purple stuff. And a lot of oak on the palate, but not, you know, too much. It's just vanilla, and it's soothing, and there's a full body, and the black and the red fruits kind of combine on the palate here. That little oxidative thing, it's not on the forefront anymore, which is nice. And yeah, I really like it. I'm excited to pair this with maybe some lamb or some steak tonight. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get some so I can drink this Rioja. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and we will be doing some craft beer next week. It's going to be a little more cuckoo and crazy, kind of more like the sake Kit Kat week and the sweet sake week. So I will see you next week, and have a nice day.